Hey there, it's Jacob with JMK Pedals back again. Today I'm going to be demoing the Robot Repeater. This is a digital delay that emulates an analog sound. So it's not an analog delay, it is a digital delay circuit, but it acts as if it's an analog sound. So it really gives you a good idea of what an analog circuit could sound like. But with a little bit of the ease of working with a digital circuit. So anyway, we're going to give it a test run today. Our signal chain, as usual, is an ES335 style guitar made by Epiphone Dot, through the Robot Repeater, and then into Fender Vibrochamp. This is a mid-70s little tube amp. Our Vibro section is off today, and we're running it fairly neutral with volume, treble, and bass knobs all at about 5. So let's give us a listen to what our clean tone sounds like. There's 3 knobs, 3 different control parameters for you to play with. Our first knob here is the repeats knob, and then we've got a level knob and a delay knob. The repeats, obviously, like most delays, what it does is it affects how long the delayed signal lasts for. So how many times it repeats over and over and over again. Our level knob controls the loudness of that repeated signal, and our delay knob will affect how long between the repeats we hear. So will it be up to 600 milliseconds, which is pretty long for a digital circuit like this in a little box, and right down to, I think it's 15 milliseconds. So when we've got our delay all the way down, we've got really good slapback, almost barely there kind of sound, and then when we're cranked right up, we've got really long delay capabilities. Now, one thing that you'll notice is with this delay circuit, with it cranked like the way it is right now, with that knob all the way up, it emulates that analog sound, so it begins to distort, pushes itself a little bit hard, and to make those repeats happen, and you'll hear some of that crackly, the fuzz of having a really long delay circuit going on. But right now I'm just going to leave the knobs all at noon, straight up and down, about 50%, and we're going to turn it on and see what it's like. First thing you'll notice, bright blue LED, really clear, easy to see on stage, from on your pedal board or on stage or wherever you've got it dropped. And this is what it sounds like. You begin to hear those repeats really fuzz up, get darker. You lose a lot of the treble off them pretty quickly, and they begin to sound quite analog-ish. It's quite enjoyable, actually. I really like it. One fun thing to do is if you take the knob for the level down about to 1/4 up, so it's pointing at about where 9 o'clock would be on a clock. Works really well as kind of an ambient delay. Let's play with it some more. We're going to put the level back to about 50% at noon, but what we're going to do is we're going to crank down the repeats and crank down the delay here, so we get more of a kind of almost like a slapback, like a little bit of reverb, like you're in a small room and you're really getting that hitting back towards the mic kind of sound. If we crank up the repeats quite a bit here, we get kind of a cool sound. Especially if we even lower the delay even more, almost all the way down. Kind of get like almost a reverby kind of sound. One fun thing about the repeats knob is along with a lot of analog effects, especially delays, when you crank the repeats knob, we begin to get self-oscillation. So you can hear the repeats begin to run away to a certain extent. Really careful control of that level knob will really make it seem those repeats are going to take over kind of thing. One fun thing to do is when you've got this situation, you crank the level and the repeats knob, and then we're going to play with the delay knob a little bit here. Turn it up and it goes slow, and then as I let's bring the repeats down to a more reasonable level. And we're going to play with the delay knob up high now. Begin to hear some of that distortion I was talking about earlier. And especially when we begin to really crank the repeats and up the level, you can get some really crazy sounds here. Well, there you have it. That's the robot repeater from JMK Pedals. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.